Good day, everyone. So we'll be discussing chapter 7. Um, anyway, I divided chapter 7 into three parts. So for chapter 7, the first part, we have textile art. Okay, Philippine textile art traditions. Now, what is textile art? Textile art is the process of creating something using fibers gained from sources like plants, maybe animals such as silkworms, insects such as silkworms, or even synthetic materials. Now, textile art is an ancient art form, and some textile fragments were found dating back to the prehistoric times. Textile art in the Philippines. Textile art in the Philippines is deeply rooted in cultural heritage, craftsmanship, and symbolism. Indigenous communities across the country have developed unique weaving techniques, design, and materials that we will be discussing today that reflect their traditions, societal status, and spiritual beliefs. First, indigenous tribe for textile art, we have the Kalinga Ifugao woven fabric and their process. This is the weaving process of the Ifugao and the Kalinga fabrics that follows traditional methods passed down through generations. Okay. Now, the Ifugao weaving process includes three key stages. Iwalangan. Okay, for iwalangan, it is the process of preparing and arranging the warp threads on the loom. This step ensures the correct alignment of the patterns and colors before weaving begins. Also, first place, i-arrange na nila ang mga threads before they will be creating the fabric sa pattern. The second one, we have adolna. This is the actual, so katunang pag-wave nila. Okay, this is the actual weaving process where the threads are interlaced to create the fabric's design and texture. This requires skill and precision to maintain consistent patterns. Kasi class, if dili man ka precise, so naay possibility nga maguba ang pattern or dili ligon ang fabric. And the last one, the third one, balingbing. Okay, or the final process where the woven fabric is finished, refined, and strengthened. This may involve additional embellishments or tightening of the weave. Now, each of these steps is done manually. Now, they may have a machine, but still done manually siya, no? Okay, requiring patience and expertise. Okay, making every piece of woven fabric into a work of art. And also, most importantly, cultural identity. Now, there are different types of blankets for the Ifugao. No? Came from their own fabric. Now, Ifugao blankets serve both practical and ceremonial purposes. They are often woven with symbolic patterns representing nature, beliefs, and social status. Now, the primary types of blankets include the first one is gamon. Okay, this is a ceremonial blanket worn during the important rituals or used to cover the deceased. Deceased. It means kanang patay. Okay, next is the hape. It is a blanket traditionally associated with the wealthy. It's because it is often distinguished by its fine weaving and intricate patterns. Nga na wealthy Roman class, it is indicated there nga fine weaving. Not only the rich can able to afford the fine work, no? More on labor siya ba. So if inga naman ka siya ka like grabe ang effort, so obviously mahal yun siya, and that is why only the wealthy are able to have this kind of blanket. And also it has intricate patterns. Okay, next is we have the quinto. Okay, it is originally used as a valuable item for bartering, maybe particularly in the exchange of pigs. It has evolved over time. It is commonly referred to as oban and is primarily used for carrying babies. No, kanang baby carrier pa, no, gamit murabag kanang hikot-hikot ang blanket. Okay. It's showcasing its practical function in Ifugao daily life. Now, the Ifugao also has this most popular with men, no? Traditional Ifugao wear for men, the wano or the G-string, or we know as the bahag. Now, the wano or bahag, it is a traditional loincloth, okay, worn by Ifugao men, varying in style depending on the occasion and social status. Now, the different types of wano include, first one we have is the infra. It is a plain, everyday loincloth commonly worn by farmers and laborers. So, in other words, mura ka ng pang-uran ba? Okay. Second is binulan. Okay, it is a red-dominated wano with intricate beadwork and embroidery. So, a simple wano nga na siya mga bitay-bitay nga beads. Okay, it is often worn during festivals and ceremonies. And the next one is the habak. Balo naman siguro mo sa dagway sa habak, no? Okay, it is a longer wano that wraps around the waist multiple times. No? So, para dili mahulog tong kanang sa tunga, and also it provides additional coverage. Now, next is dayude. Dayude is a variation of the wano with colorful patterns typically worn by younger men. It's because it is believed manggod daw is the brighter the color, so more fun, carefree, so associated siya sa mga younger people. Well, if kanang mga darker colors, associated siya sa mga older people because it symbolizes seriousness, ingana ba? Okay, next is iwitan. It is a shorter wano suitable for mobility and ease of movement. Okay, next is tinanong. Okay, it is a simple checkered wano usually worn for casual or everyday use. Next is piniwaan ni liha. It is a highly decorative wano reserved for elders, no? Since dapat intricate na ilahang mga J-string, it's because they are elders, no? Very important people sa community or respected community leaders. Now, these are the most common Ifugao blanket design. So, pattern. Now, we have this one. Okay, the most common Ifugao blankets design. Okay, the symbolism in Ifugao blankets reflects nature, strength, and protection, and cultural beliefs. Some of the most common design include, okay, first is payaong. It is a basic everyday blanket. So, this one here, I don't know if makita ninyo ang mouse pointer, but kanibang nasa top na nasa left part, nasa top. Okay, next is linuhong or mortars. It is a design symbolizing agriculture and importance of rice in Ifugao life. So this one here is below lang ato, kaning green ay green. Next is the tinatago or men. It represents ancestors, warriors, and community strength. So kaning narpod sa third, ubos. And lastly, we have bituon or the stars. So obviously, ganang yellow dara. No, and next is baniya or iguanas. Okay, it symbolizes agility and resilience. So kanang marputiki dara nga style, no, na siya. Okay, hinulgot or spears. I don't know, wala ko kapaloon saan but I think this orange one, I think. Okay, it's a pattern often associated with warriors and bravery in battle. Okay, napatiban kaning this one kaning work snakes. Okay, so each of the woven textile tells a story of the Ifugao people. It preserves their history, beliefs, and identity in pattern that have remained unchanged for generations. Okay, moving on. The textile tradition of the Cordillera Administrative Region serve as a vital link between the past and the present. Okay, it ensures that cultural knowledge is passed down through the art of weaving. From the meticulous weaving process to the symbolism of the blankets and clothing, the Ifugao and the Klinga fabrics showcase craftsmanship, identity, and heritage. In a modern world, preserving these traditions help maintain the cultural richness of indigenous Filipino communities. Okay, Now, the second one is the Ilocos region woven fabrics. Okay. The Ilocos region is known for its rich weaving tradition, producing strong, colorful, and intricate woven fabrics. The most well-known textiles from this region include the Inabel and the Pinakul, both of which are hand-woven using traditional wooden loops. These fabrics are highly valued for their durability, aesthetic appeal, and most importantly, the cultural significance. The inabel or the abel is the traditional woven fabric of in Vigan, Ilocos Sur. Abel, or also known as inabel, okay, it is recognized for its first is strength. It is known for being durable and long-lasting. Next is colorfulness. No, as you can see in the photo, vibrant kayo ang colors and intricate designs. Next is versatility. This fabric can be used for blankets, clothing, and home accessories. The art of abel weaving has been passed down for generations, with Ilocano weavers using natural cotton fibers dyed with traditional plant-based pigments. So the difference between binakul and abel is that binakul is has the pattern like an optical art. Now, binakul, or also spelled as binakel, it is a distinct variation of abel. It is woven on a small scale in Ilocos. It features interlocked geometric patterns. Okay, these create the psychedelic optical illusion, often representing the waves of the sea. Okay, its traditional uses, it is used for blankets, pillowcases, and home textiles. Recently, it is adapted into fashion and accessories, showing its relevance in the contemporary design. The yarns used for binakol are made from cotton and dyed using the sap of the plum called sagut, a natural dye that helps maintain the fabric's traditional look. Now, this intricate and time-consuming process reflects the skill, patience, and artistry of Ilocano weavers. First is the first process we have pinagbukag tikapas, or picking the cotton balls. So in other words, the cotton is harvested from the plant. The second one, they called it pinagladi tikapas, or removing the seeds with the use of a cotton gin. Okay, so they are removing the seeds on the cotton. Next is panangbatbat tikapas, or pounding or beating with the use of lagundi stick. So, para kanang siyang ma-flat. Huh? Okay, next is panang sunay or panang TB tikapas, or twisting. Okay, you are twisting, no? The cotton using the spindle. So, inyo siyang lubagon. Okay. Next is panaglibabay tisagot, or skinning. So, winding the cotton yarn into the skinner. So, inyo siyang nipis. Next is panagtagod iti na ilabay nga sagot, or combing. So, sudlayon na, i-brushing para more durable and glossy. Dili siya murag kanang hait-hait bitaw, or murag gaspang. Okay. Next is pulipol ti sagot, or spooling. Okay, winding the skinned yarn into the bamboo spool. So, ihigot na siya dito sa spool. Okay, next is pananggan ay ti sagot, or warping. Okay, winding the spool yarn into the warping reel, or tool for warping. Okay, next is pananglukot ti sagot, or beaming. Okay, winding the warp yarn into the warp beam rod. So, ibutang na po tong uban nga yarn sa tahianan rather. Next is pinagisubo iti guron, or heading. Okay, inserting the warp yarn through the heddle eye with the use of the weaver's hook. Okay, so preparing na siya for weaving na. Kanang ihikot-hikot ang mga cotton, or nahimo na sila yarn. Next is pinagisubo iti sugod, or slaying. Okay, inserting the warp yarn through the dents or spaces of the reed with the use of the weaver's hook. So, mara na siya kanang i-lock bitaw. And next we have pinagipakat di ay pagablan, or tie up, tying in. Okay, kanang higot na for padulong na mag-weaving. Okay, so dressing the loom to tie the heddles behind the beater. And lastly, we start weaving, or in other words, agabel. Okay, the interlocking of vertical yarn, or the warp, known as the ganay, and the horizontal yarns, weft, as pakan. Okay, the weaving tradition in Ilocos is a symbol of Filipino craftsmanship and cultural identity. The Abel and Binakul fabrics showcase not only the artistic heritage of the region, but also the ingenuity and what we call resourcefulness of Ilocano weavers. Despite the modernization, these traditional fabrics continue to thrive, adapting to fashion, home decor, and accessories, ensuring that the legacy of Ilocano weaving lives on. Okay, so the next weaving community that we will be discussing is the Region 4A or the Aurora Province. So the weaving tradition they have is the Sabutan woven fabrics. In the lush landscapes of Aurora Province, particularly in municipalities like Baler and San Luis, the traditional craft of Sabutan weaving has been a cornerstone of cultural heritage and local economy for over 3 centuries. This meticulous art form involves transforming the leaves of the sabutan plant, or in the Pandanus sabutan, a species of the pandan family, into a variety of functional and decorative items. The sabutan plant thrives abundantly in Aurora's coastal and forested regions, reaching heights of 2 to 4 meters. Its mature leaves are approximately 2 meters long and 6 centimeters wide, characterized by a fine texture ideal for waving. Now, traditionally, these leaves are harvested from wild stands, but over-harvesting has led to a significant decline. So, na-over ang pag-harvest, nawala na hapit na mawala ang plant rather, prompting initiatives for sustainable cultivation and propagation. Now, this intricate and time-consuming process reflects the skill, patience, and artistry of Ilocano weavers. First, they will do is to prepare the raw materials. Okay, it is the journey from the raw sabutan leaves into exquisite woven products. Okay, it also involves like the previously discussed um weaving traditions. It involves several labor-intensive steps. First is harvesting. Okay. Mature leaves are carefully selected and cut, ensuring the plant's continued growth. Okay, because of the recent decline. Next is trimming. Now, the thorny edges and the midribs of the leaves are meticulously removed to prepare them for further processing. Next is splitting. Leaves are divided into uniform strips. Okay, using a comb-like instrument, determining the width of the fibers for specific products. Next is boiling. The strips are boiled for about 15 minutes, sometimes with natural additives like vinegar, lemon, or tamarind to soften the fibers and enhance pliability. Okay, next is that drying and flattening. Now, after boiling, the fibers are then sun-dried and flattened, often drawing them tightly around a piece of wood to achieve its desired texture. And lastly, we have the dyeing. Okay, colora na siya. While traditional sabutan products retain the natural light green or gray hue, modern adaptations may involve dyeing the fibers with vibrant rather, I'm sorry, vibrant, color-fast dyes to cater contemporary aesthetics. Next is the weaving process. Once the fibers are prepared, the weaving process. Okay, so first is loom setup. Weavers use traditional hand looms, setting up the warp threads meticulously to establish the foundation of the wave. Next is the weaving. Now, the weft threads no, are interlaced. Pareha sa katong gibuhat bitaw ninyo class nga gipa-wave ta mo. So, ingato ilahang gibuhat. Okay, are interlaced through the warp using precise hand movements, creating patterns that range from simple to intricate design. And lastly, finishing. The woven materials is inspected for consistency. Any necessary finishing touches are applied to ensure the product's quality and durability. Kabutan weaving yields a diverse array of products. These include like hats, mats, bags, purses, fans, etc., etc. Ang wala lang nila class is clothing. Kay mura mo gani siya kanang kalbitang sa banig nga mura siya banig manggo dili siya although weaving but not kanang dili bitaw pang cloth. Okay? Okay, we next we have region 4B or the Mimaropa, specifically in Palawan. In the culturally rich province of Palawan, the indigenous communities have preserved the traditional art of weaving, utilizing natural resources unique to their environment. Central to this craft is the use of the amumutina grass, a material endemic to Palawan known for its fine texture and versatility in creating various woven products. This amumutina grass is exclusive only in Palawan. It serves as the primary material for the region's weaving traditions. The grass is harvested, dried, and dyed, often in a rust color to prepare for weaving. Now, the choice of color depends on the desired outcome of the final product. Now, the weaving process, the transformation of the amumutina grass into exquisite woven fabrics or anything, it involves several meticulous steps. First is preparation. Okay, first is harvesting. Selected based on desired color and quality. The grass is then dried and dyed to achieve the preferred hue. Next is warping. The threads are arranged in a warping frame to set the length and number required for the fabric. This process ensures the correct alignment and tension of threads for weaving. Next is drawing in. The warp threads are drawn through the heddle wires and reeds, organizing them into a loom to establish the fabric structure and design. And next, we have the waving. Using foot treadles, kanang na siya kanang murag, kabantay mo ng pareha sa makina sa manahi, so ingana. The weaver controls the movement of the heddles, creating a shed through which the weft thread is passed. These interlacing of warp and weft threads forms the fabric. And lastly, we have the buttoning. After each weft insertion, the newly added thread is pressed into a place using a reed, ensuring the wave is tight and in uniform. Weaving in Palawan is more than means of creating textiles. It is a vital expression of cultural identity and heritage. The patterns and techniques passed down through generations embody the history, beliefs, and values of the community. Engaging in this traditional craft fosters a sense of pride and continuity among the Palawan people, ensuring that their ancestral knowledge and artistry endure. In preserving and promoting the art of the Amumutina grass weaving, Palawan not only safeguards its cultural legacy but also supports sustainable livelihoods for its artisans, contributing to the broader appreciation of indigenous Filipino crafts. The rich tapestry of Mindanao's cultural heritage is vividly expressed through the traditional weaving practices of its indigenous tribes. Each group, such as the Tiboli, Mandaya, Tausug, and Yakan, employs unique techniques and imbues their textiles with profound cultural significance. First, we will be discussing the Tinalak. They are called the Tiboli Dream Weavers. The Tiboli people of Lake Cebu, South Cotabato, are renowned for producing tinalak, a sacred cloth woven exclusively by women. This tradition is deeply intertwined with Tiboli spirituality rather, and cosmology. Now, you might ask why women only because it is believed that in their culture, women are more gentle. No? So, and also it is also believed that only women members of the tribe are visited by the goddess of Abaka, which is Fudalu, that we will be discussing later on. Now, tinalak weaving is considered a spiritual endeavor. The patterns are believed to be bestowed upon the weavers through dreams by Fudalu, the goddess of Abaka.
These quote-unquote dream weavers translate their visions into intricate designs, making each tinalak piece unique. So, it is believed daw nga si Fudalo mo visit daw sa dream aning mga Tiboli women, no? She will show them their own unique patterns, their visions, no? Like visions para ilang translate kato nga mga visions nga gipakita sa ila ni Fudalo into intricate designs. Say for example, si Fudalo magpakita sila vision about say for example the sea or the mountains, no? So ang kato nga vision nga gipakita sa ilahan ni Fudalo ila tong i-translate into intricate designs. And also, each of these dreams are different. So, walay, anay similar, but not too closely similar, jud, no? Each tinalak piece is unique, jud. So, kumbaga, and when they make these fabric or textile, so more siya, mura bitaw siya o sa bana nga term, oy, kana bang, parang wala sila gisun-an ba, no? Mura lang kanang gi-guide sila ba spiritually. Like, unsa ba na nga word class? Wait lang, maghanana sa ko class ha. Naa sa kong mind pero di na ko maistorya. Unsa ba na? Kanang nasa ba na? Wait lang, balikan na nato naon niya. Tabang murag wala kay gisun-an ba kung unsa lang imong ma-feel, unsa lang imuhang like mahuna-hunaan or unsa ba kanang like go on with the flow lang bitaw ka. So, murag ani ang pag-wave sa pattern sa tinalak. Now, this process is sacred, and weavers observe various rituals to honor Fudalu, including abstaining from certain activities to maintain the purity of their craft. Okay, the weaving process for this one, same with the previously discussed, which is first is obviously the fiber preparation. No, you must prepare sa kanang unsay gamito ni mga raw materials. Now, first is the abaca fibers are harvested and stripped to obtain fine strands. These are sun-dried, so ilang gibulat and sorted for quality. Next is design. Okay, encoding. So, ang tawag nila na kay ikat technique. So, murag ilahabang kumbaga, murag sketch, no? Murag nga pa. Daan. Using a resist dye method, portions of the fibers are bound to create patterns. And next we have the waving. Dito na mag-start og wave. Employing a backstrap loom, bali, mura siya baliktad bitaw nga loom, murag sa back ang ilahang gi-wave para ang katong bali kung gibaliktad siya no, ang katong nasa atubangan, bali kung nag-wave pa ka mo to ang likod, mo to siya like makita jud nimo dito ang pattern. Okay, the weaver interlaces the dyed fibers, meticulously following an envisioned pattern. Okay, next is dagmay. Okay, dagmay came from the Mandaya. No? The Mandaya's woven legacy. Now, kaning Mandaya tribe, they came from Davao Oriental, and also they create dagmay. It is same with tinalak. It is an abaca, hand-woven fabric distinguished by intricate designs. Okay, dagmay features patterns that often depict human figures and crocodiles, reflecting the tribe's ancestral stories and beliefs. The Mandaya employed a mud dyeing. So kung mag-dye sila sa not the fabric yet, but the fiber. Kay they mix it with instead of like synthetic colors or kanang kuan ang ilaha is dye. No? Oh, no, not dye. I mean, kung mag-dye sila, is mud ilang gamiton. Kay kana kabantay mo nang nay mga lapok nga murag maka-stain jud bitaw kay siya then like dugay kay siya matanggal so like murag ingana siya ba. Okay. The Mandaya employed a mud dyeing technique considered unique in the Philippines to achieve the fabric's distinct coloration. Traditionally, dagmay serves multiple purposes, including ang iyang finished product, pwede siya skirts, obviously blankets, and also we have for ceremonial purposes kanang mga burial wraps, no? Because naman sa ubang tribe nga when it comes to handling the dead is more important kaayo banadyo ceremony. Okay, next is pisyabit. Pisyabit came from the tausug, no, as a symbol of honor. Among the tausug of Holo, Sulu, the pisyabit is a traditional headscarf, okay, that holds significant cultural value. Okay, material and design. Okay, crafted from different na pud ni ilahan, no? Sa pisyabit o sa pisyabit. I mean sa tinalak o sa katusamandaya. Okay. Crafted from cotton or silk, okay, and occasionally adorned with gold threads. Okay, pisyabit is characterized by intricate geometric design. As you can see, more on yellow sila, no? Kay using gold threads. Okay. Not literal nga gold, maybe literal nga gold, but maybe the color. Okay. The designs are meticulously segmented into small squares. So, mailhanin mo ilang pattern, no? Kay squares, ingana, or diamonds, or maybe triangles, showcasing the weaver's skill. Now, beyond its practical use as a headwear, so ang iyang kadakuan ni is square, no? Can be gamay nga square for a headscarf and like a big square. Okay. Pishabit symbolizes a warrior's honor and status. It is also utilized in various ways, such as being draped over the shoulder, pwede po siya na, no, kanang pilo-piloon og tarong bag. Okay. Or tied around the hilt of a kris or traditional sword. I have a picture of a kris. I will be showing you soon enough. Okay. Or worn as a sign of rank during significant events. Okay, as discussed previously, no, most of these kaning mga textiles or mga fabric, the more intricate kayo ang design or more kanang unique ang labaw na ang kung kisay may magsuot ana ang wearer, it means they are someone important or they are wealthy. Okay, and last we have the Sepotangan. Sepotangan is from the Yakan tribe. Okay, the Yakan women of Basilan and Sulu are celebrated for waving the Sepotangan, okay, one of their most intricate textile creations. The sepotangan is a square cloth featuring vibrant, multicolored patterns inspired by the colors of the rainbow. So, katong niagi, para di ta ma-confuse since mas lag same lang sila og uses, ang katong niagi is more on gold, no? As you can see. Kanipod, sa sepotangan is more on the colors of the rainbow. Okay. Worn around the waist or as a headcloth, it served both decorative and symbolic purposes. Now, the complexity of its design reflects the weaver's artistry and the cultural significance of the garment within the Yakan society. Yakan weavers employ a backstrap loom, no? Okay, create tight, intricate patterns. The process involves dyeing fibers with natural pigments and weaving them into geometric designs that often symbolize natural phenomena and ancestral stories. Now, these weaving traditions not only exemplify the artistic excellence of Mindanao's indigenous tribes, but also serve as a vital expressions for their identities, beliefs, and histories. So in other words, dili ra kay basta-basta naghimo og mga like not fibers, but fabrics, di lapod basta-basta mga hog fibers, but nagaserve siya as a vital expression para sa pagkakilanlan, no? Mga tinuohan og mga history sa tribe. Now, it is very important to preserve and promote this craft, no? To sustain the rich cultural tapestry of the Philippines. Okay, that's the end of our discussion. Now, if you have any questions, you can just chat me on the group chat. Ayaw lang ko ninyo i-PM, please. Kaya di pa na ako entertain, but if sa group chat, pakita man ko na. Okay, thank you for listening, class, and have a great day.